Right, it's Mukachi for TBFM here at Hammerfest. We're on the last day, which is why my voice is broken. And I've been joined by a member of the band, is it Skalmold?
Skalmold.
Skalmold.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's fair enough. It's beyond average, actually.
Where are you guys from?
Iceland.
Iceland.
Yeah.
Wow. It's a bit cold. Hence the woolly jumpers.
Yeah, actually, it's the weather's been really shit. Snowing and it's basically everything. Today, everything is just closed down back home. We were just lucky that we caught a plane yesterday because there's no flying or anything now. So yeah, this is quite summery actually.
Wales doesn't usually get sunshine, so you're in luck this weekend. So tell us a little bit about the band, because obviously we don't know anything yet. So
okay,
we're guessing you're going to be some kind of metal because you're on the metal stage.
Yeah. Actually, we always somehow get bumped into, I don't know, Viking metal category, which I actually don't really know what the fuck that means.
It means you're from Iceland, or anything that's Scandinavian is usually Viking metal.
But basically, we just play heavy metal. It's with no gimmicks. We don't wear horny helmets and swords and shit on stage.
You don't drink out of a horn or anything.
No.
That's only at home.
Yeah, but I think we got labeled Viking metal mostly because of our lyrical themes. We sing in Icelandic,
right.
and our bass player who does all the lyrics, he writes them strictly to like the old rules of Icelandic poetry, like back from the sagas. And the themes are already kind of like, I don't know, Viking-y. We have all our albums are concept albums with storylines.
Yeah.
But it's just pure heavy metal. I mean, take a lot of our influences from Iron Maiden, for example.
Right.
Just the stuff we grew up with.
Yeah.
Late 80s, old school thrash metal. Slayer, the Metallicas, the.
Is that what
Iron
we're going to hear? Are we going to hear anything on those wavelengths in your band, or who could you compare with?
I mean, if you listen carefully, you can hear all those influences, of course, but mixed up with, Icelandic traditional kind of like, we don't really have a folk music tradition back home in Iceland because music was actually almost banned for like 200 years by the church. Music and dancing and everything fun. So we don't have a folk tradition except for the vocal harmonies, the fifth harmonies. So we use a bit of that as well, but just, plain fun heavy metal.
It's interesting you say as well. All your music is sang in your own language.
Yeah.
There's not many bands that get away with doing that. Rammstein do it, and we all love Rammstein because there's been a few websites where you can go and listen to Rammstein's music in English.
It sucks.
And it sounds bizarre. And awful.
It's really bad.
But Rammstein's evil. It sounds evil, and obviously you're saying people put you down in the Viking thing. So it's probably because of being in your own language. They're not sure what it is. We'll call it Viking.
Yeah. Of course. And we get that question a lot if we're ever going to change into something more international. If we're ever going to sing in English, for example, and the short answer is just no, because it wouldn't be right. It would be fake in a way, because this is our heritage. This is basically who we are.
It's your signature, really, isn't it?
It is,
because you wouldn't be your band if you sang in another language.
No, and we, wherever we go. I mean, we're touring quite a lot, especially in Europe, and it doesn't really matter wherever we are. That people don't give a shit, really, because good music is good music, and there's something about, especially with those. With those rules, the poetry rules, it's very, very rhythmical. So the vocals and the lyrics are more of just another instrument in riffing, in a way. So, and you can see people. I mean, we were playing in Romania like 3 weeks ago, and a lot of people were trying to sing along, which was hilarious because they don't know anything.
That is quite a language barrier. So I'm guessing it's quite different every country you go to, because most bands sing in English. That is sort of the number one language for rock and metal, really. But I mean, once you get into the metal side and they start screaming, they can be singing in any language you like because you can't understand the word they say.
But it was fun. We were touring with Aluvaiti on their European tour this fall, and the lineup was Aluvaiti, Arcona from Russia, and us. And well, while we were doing the UK part of the tour, we suddenly realized you get 3 bands, and none of them actually sing in English. So you get a whole lineup, and nobody understands shit. But I mean, it like I said, good music is good music, and probably the same when English bands go over to, for example, Romania, Bulgaria, where not a lot of people actually speak English.
That's true, but all the bands sing in English, and I always find that quite strange. You look at Iron Maiden when they go out to Japan and they're playing to 150, 200,000 people, and you think, well, they're all these Japanese people, they can't understand a word they're saying, surely, but it works for some reason. So I think there's only one language, and that's music, really, isn't there? Because your guitar's not playing in Spanish or Irish, Italian, whatever. So you just carry on playing. So how long had the band been going?
Since 2009.
Fairly fresh. That's fairly fresh. It's only 6 years. It's still quite young.
Yeah, and it's been amazing because when we formed the band, it was basically our bass player and our singer, who's a singer and guitar player, had this idea that they've been playing in bands since '91, mostly punk, but all sorts of other stuff as well. But they kind of got the idea we really have to form a heavy metal band and release one good heavy metal album, just to be able to take it from the shelf when you're 80. You go, well, look, I did that. And the bass player basically sent an email to friends who he knew could play and wanted to be in a heavy metal band. Most of us had never met before on the first rehearsal, and it just clicked and released the first album, which became quite a hit back home, and signed with Napalm Records from Austria, and it just escalated very, very quickly. So that one album has now turned into 3 albums plus a live album we did with the Icelandic Symphony Orchestra, which was insane. It was like 300 people on the stage basically playing our songs, and it's completely surreal thing.
Yeah, that's a bit. Metallica done that with the orchestra, didn't they?
Yeah.
And it's quite bizarre to listen to, but really interesting.
Yeah, it was. When the Symphony Orchestra called us with the offer to do that, we booked the arranger ourselves, and on the first meeting with him, the main goal was, we're not going to do the fucking Metallica and Symphony Orchestra, because that album is shit. I mean, it's just Metallica doing their things, and then just lazy strings going over the whole thing.
It's like a lazy album to earn a few more pounds.
So we want to do a thing where it would be challenging for the Symphony Orchestra as well, so they can do a lot of, they got a lot of hard work to do.
Yeah.
And that was fun. It was challenging for everyone, but it was amazing.
It's something you can tick off. I've done this now, and I've done this. So in Iceland, what's the music scene over there like?
It's it's weird because it's a nation of 300,000 people,
Very small.
very, very small. So the music industry, the scene is basically, even if it's the heavy metal scene or the pop scene, everyone knows everyone, and usually musicians are in probably like 3-4 bands, and we do a lot of we play in pop bands, we play in jazz bands and stuff, because if you're going to make a living as a musician, you can't really be choosy about genres, going like, I'm only playing black metal, because you won't get many gigs doing just that. But the heavy metal scene back home is very, very strong. A lot of really good bands. Some of them actually doing well, like Solstavir, for example. You got your Seguros and stuff like that, which are really huge bands. So it's a very vivid, very active music scene.
Is it still growing then? Is it something that's becoming a trend?
And
for the rock metal.
And I think that probably puts us a bit apart from bands from like mainland Europe, for example, where if you play heavy metal, you just play heavy metal.
Yeah.
So doing that, you can kind of get a bit stuck in, this is heavy metal, this is how it should be, and you don't go anywhere from that.
Yeah, you don't experiment.
But back home, nobody cares that much about that. So we can allow ourselves to do all sort of weird stuff that doesn't really fit the genre that we're doing. And I like that. It
sounds interesting. I do apologise that we didn't really know too much about you. I mean, obviously there's so many bands. You've got to pick and choose some that you know. And usually what we usually do, if we don't know the band, we'll pop in and watch them and then go, oh, next time they're over, we'll interview them. And that's how we do it. Or we pick up a CD and then they get on the radio, and that's how it has to work. So is there any band in particular you want to see this weekend?
Well, I saw the Eccentrics last night. That was fun.
Painful, apparently, very painful.
Yeah, it was, and it was just like jumping into a time machine, just back to 1990.
Yeah.
It was amazing. To be honest, I don't know many of the bands who are playing now. I know Candlemass, for example. I mean, and looking forward to see them. I know of bands like Einherjar. It's kind of like, it's a lot of them are names that you've seen.
Yeah.
And mostly on when you're touring, you see posters of bands that are,
also playing the same
venue. So there's a lot of names that you've seen before, but not many that I've actually listened to.
Yeah,
so it's going to be, I'm looking forward to tonight because, I'm going to see a lot of new stuff as well.
Yeah, I mean, tonight you've got Devilment, which is Danny Filth from Cradle of Filth. That's his other band.
Oh, really?
They're on tonight, yeah. Then we've got Raging Speedhorn, Orange Goblin, followed by Candlemass, which that for me is just making my whole weekend. That's my night.
Oh yeah, actually Orange Goblin.
They've been going for a long time, so they're going to be really interesting to watch. But Candlemass for me is they played here 2 years ago, and it was the most amazing set I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in keyboards and watching bands that still bring keyboards in, and you only get European bands that do that. English bands don't want to do keyboards. It's a very European thing.
I'll tell our keyboard player that.
You've got a keyboard player. That's
well,
brilliant.
he basically he only uses like church organ sounds.
Oh, awesome! I will be definitely coming along for that.
Yeah, I mean you should come along. And expect to have fun. That is basically the only guideline we set is we're in this to have fun.
Yeah.
And when it stops being fun, then we'll just quit. But
if you get chance tonight, just after midnight, Evil Scarecrow.
Okay.
We saw them a couple of years ago. This is a band that's got a bit of a gimmick. They're all painted and dressed up, and every song they do is a crowd participation song.
Right.
You've either all got to do a square all the way through the song like a robot, or you've all got to be scuttling left and right together and spinning around in circles and one-eyed dancing. You've got to put a hand over your eye and waltz and things like that. It's quite bizarre. And they're on just after midnight. They were playing to 50 people 3 years ago. Last year they opened up the stage at 11 in the morning to 10,000 people because everybody'd heard about them and was like, we've got to go and see this band. They're
all right.
Exhausting band you'll ever have. Fun watching.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, make sure you try and get to see that. We've been told we've got to wrap up now because I think we've got some more interviews, and I think you're going on stage soon, aren't you?
No, I think we're at 5.
5.
Something
right,
like that, yeah.
I'm interviewing Danny Filth then. I'll rush it through.
Yeah.
I'll get somebody else to do it and we'll come and see you. So look forward to, we'll get some music off you in the future and we'll get you some radio airplay with TBFM. Thanks for chatting to us.
Thank you, man. It's fun.